smoking pot. I got my dick out, and I'm thinking about you, and I'm thinking about you. I'm smoking pot. I got my dick out, and I'm thinking about you, just you.
I'm smoking pot. I got my dick out, and I'm thinking about you, thinking about you.
I'm driving along, I'm singing a song, and I got my dick out, and I'm thinking about you, I drank a six-pack, I took my pants off, oh, I love you, I love you,
I'm smoking pot.
Great, there we go. Hey guys, how you doing? Hey, guess what? It is the 8 o'clock hour, and today is the 17th of August. And welcome. Hey, nice to see you guys coming in here on time, 8 o'clock. I love it. We got people popping in already. My name is John Pizzo. Welcome to this episode tonight of our Stump The Joke Men. We haven't been doing stump stuff a lot. We've been doing more jokes and stories, but it's been going along a lot of fun. I'm here in my green screen jungle in New Jersey, and Jackie is in Bayville, Long Island, enjoying the summer ocean, I am sure. So we're looking forward to tonight doing our show about what? The animal kingdom. It's supposed to be animal kingdom, but it's the animal kingdom. Jackie will probably tell you why. He was twisted about that yesterday. So let's bring on the man of the hour. Here he is, Jackie, the joke man, Martling. Hello, Jackie. Here we go.
You totally missed that. It wasn't so much it wasn't supposed to be animal kingdom. It was supposed to be the animal kinkdom. That was the whole point of the thing. It kinked them because with all the stories that twisted, kinked them.
Oh my goodness!
The was besides the point, but we lose so much. You're going a million miles an hour, and I'm so busy doing nothing that somehow we don't hit on all the cylinders.
You're always busy doing something, and you're right. I didn't. Now that you're telling me it's kingdom, yesterday when we were talking back and forth, I didn't even know then. I thought you meant the animal kingdom.
Yeah, you said I fixed it, and I said, what planet is he on?
I'm just looking at the text real quick, and I'm moving on. I'm moving on.
Well, I know you know this joke, but this is one of my favorites, so I'm going to tell it.
I love them all.
A guy goes to the vet, and he says, "I don't know what I'm going to do, Doc. My dog is eating his own shit."
Okay.
And the vet says, "No problem. Just give him these pills every day for a week." And the guy says, "What'll they do?" He says, "Make the shit taste bad." That is the best pet joke. That is the best.
Is that the best pet joke? There's so many great pet jokes.
I love them all. I did 7 cameos today.
Oh, wow. So you've been online all day.
And they're not much money, but after you do a bunch, all of a sudden it builds up, You're
starting to think about, too, like, we used to get in a car and drive 100 miles and get there early, have to shake hands and say hello to everybody, have a drink, do this, and then do the act, drive home 2, 3 in the morning. And look at this. You're sitting home and something comes in.
Right. So, unfortunately, it's the same money that it was in 1979, but at least we're not driving as far,
Well, that's a good thing. I'm not doing any cameo stuff. I've been doing, I've actually done a couple of online performances to people, and it's very challenging because people in this little square window environment, it's difficult to entertain, especially in little boxes, like 50 little boxes around you.
I did a couple where you do with 4 or 5 people, and that's fine. And, I was on Ferrantino's show the other day. It was like 5 people. As long as all the boxes are right there.
Right.
I did a couple shows where it was like, not shows, whatever you'd call it, when you sit in with them and they pay you. But there was so many that has spilled over to a second screen or a third screen if there's 20 people or 30 people, and it just is lost. And with all the microphones open and somebody's wife comes in, it's lost unless it's just a few. I'll tell you, Ferrantino's show is great. You got to do it. It was really, really fun. He's a decent character, and he's on with Tom Drake, who's a big time, I guess, ship comedian, and his wife Dottie Calusa is books a lot of stuff. She's like one of those cruise director chicks, like from Love Boat or something.
Wow.
And it's fun because what I'm doing is I'm auditioning for them for the boat. I've never been on the boat. I've never worked a boat because I'm so dirty. And I pitched them. I said, let me come on and I'll tell you jokes every week. And you tell me what jokes work and what jokes don't work. Because I went on there and she told a joke. And I said, you tell that on the cruise? And she says, yeah. And I'm like, but it wasn't no shit or fuck or anything, but it was as off color. It was a cheat on, somebody else knocking up your wife joke, which to me is as offensive as anything can get,
Depends on your wife.
The guy has two beautiful daughters, and then his wife has a third kid, and the kid is really ugly. And the guy looks at the ugly kid and he says, have you been cheating on me? And she says, not this time. If you look at what that's about, that's as off color as you can get, right?
So you think it's over the line? But the industry has changed between then and now because years ago everything was a little more tighter, and people become a little more open to this type of human. But not all the cruises, not all the shows.
Right, but I guess like a lot of people, just like stupid radio. You could talk about anything you want. Vomit and puke and whatever you want,
right.
But you can't use the 7 dirty words,
Right,
and you can be very dirty without saying fuck. You can be
absolutely.
Really.
Well,
you want to hear a great one? A guy says to his wife, every time I go to fuck you in the ass, I lose my heart on. What's the story? And she says, it must be my stool softener. How stupid is that?
I love it. Hey, Charlie Fish is out in Georgia. I'm going to put the link up there if he wants to come in. Look at this. I love Jackie from Luscious Hellborn. It's funny you mentioned this about the cruise ships thing. There's that great joke about the cruise ship with the parrot. And I know you know every joke. And
Go ahead, tell it. Don't worry about me. Tell it.
I'm always worried about you. You're the joke guy. The other thing too, I was thinking about with the cruise ships, which I find fascinating, is now they do a lot of late night shows. So they used to do like maybe you'll do an 8 o'clock show for everyone, and then they'll have like an 11 or a midnight show where you could really open up and that you could say the C word or something, but you could really get really innuendo-ish heavy, really heavy.
Well, which is what that's what my show is.
But you got to do the clean one earlier. By the way, the pirate joke you told the other day, I heard you tell, was a great joke. The pirate with the yacht.
How much fun is that?
It's a great joke.
It's so much fun.
I love it.
I told a couple of those to. I told another. Long jokes like that are so stupid and they're fun. The Indian chief says to his son, you push him outhouse off him cliff? No, father, me no push him outhouse off him cliff. Son, me tell him you story. Many moon ago, great white father, George Washington, young boy, him father say, Georgie, you chop him down cherry tree? And him say, cannot tell lie, father, me chop him down cherry tree. And his father said, Georgie, you bad boy, chop him down tree, but you honest. You no get punished because you honest. Now, son, me ask him again. You push him outhouse off him cliff? Yes, father. Yes, me push him outhouse off him cliff. And the chief beats the shit out of the kid. When he gets done beating up the kid, he says, Father, George Washington no tell lie. Him get off scot-free. I tell him truth. You beat shit out of me. Why? And he says, George Washington father, not in cherry tree when him chopped down.
I kind of knew.
That's a classic nail biter, isn't it?
I like it. I like it. I like it. And I look at this. We got in the chat over here. Looking good, John. This Donna DeVito. We hope you are well and healthy. This poor girl went through hell. Good to see that you're out and you're laughing.
I did not know her. Tell me about her.
She's great. What a great girl from northern New Jersey. She was ill for a little while in the hospital, and she looked like she wasn't going to make it. And now she's here on the internet. Love her. God bless her. We're happy to hear that. So much happy.
Great. Well, I have some sex for her.
I said I want to make her happy.
Oh,
Jackie. Speaking of happy, look who's here. It's the stoic Charlie Fisher.
Jesus Christ, he's smiling.
What happened?
He must have gas.
He's farting on the couch.
Good old Charlie.
Speaking of which, I put this up. If anybody wants to come in, you can come on in here and tell a joke. We'd be more than happy to send you a gift if we don't even know the answer to the joke, which is great. There's Daniel Romano. God bless. Love you guys. That's so nice. Everyone's so nice lately. Everything's really cool. Hey, speaking of which, jokes. This is kind of like a joke about animals. So I just beat the fuck out of a girl who wouldn't stay 6 feet away from me on the train. And then I had to give her guide dog a kick in the ass as well.
I like that.
I know you would.
I like that.
We go.
You know the one about the blind guy, and he has his guide dog.
Oh, I love this. Please hit it up.
And the guide dog takes a shit on the blind guy's foot. And the blind guy bends over and starts petting him. And the guy next to him says, "He just shit on your foot. Why are you petting him?" He says, I gotta pet him so I can find his ass so I can kick him.
That's a great joke. Great joke. You know, at first I thought you were going towards the blind guy going for lunch. That's where I thought.
Macy's, swinging the dog over. Which?
The blind guy where the two guys go to have lunch and they can't get into the restaurant.
Oh no, that's a clay. I'm not telling. That's too long.
It's a great joke. And you know, another one that used to do all the time was the cat on the couch.
Love that joke.
Great joke.
That's one of the ones I told, and she said, "Hey, that's perfect for the cruise."
It is perfect for the cruise.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
So many of those jokes, and they're so fun.
They're just
as funny. They're just as funny. I can do a cruise. I just never had been hungry enough or never wanted to enough. But now it's not even a question of needing the money. I certainly could use the money.
Sure.
I mean, not badly, but it'd be nice to be working. But the thought of going anywhere for a week is so exciting, like, wow,
Yeah, but the other issue is on cruises, they had all these people had listeria thing for a while. They had this going on for a while. Now, when they come back after this COVID thing, are we going to walk into a cruise ship? I mean, what do we expect now? I mean, before it was a problem.
Yeah, and if you go on a cruise ship and you get sick, you cannot cry to anybody. Like what it's like the scorpion and the frog. You moron,
So Daniel Miller, the guy with the urinal in his house up in Canada, writes, "How did Noah see the animals in the ark at night? Floodlights."
I like that joke. Do you ever see the impression of Noah fishing in the ark?
No.
You know that story?
No, I don't have any clue on this.
There was a comic 30 years ago that I worked with who wasn't. He was very dry. He was a little bit funny. I think he actually did Carson or Letterman a few times. God, I wish I could think of his name, but he did this. And Noah is fishing off the side of the ark, and he turns and he says, "Will somebody bring me the other worm?"
Oh no, I never heard that. That's great.
Isn't that funny? That's
great.
Silly.
Here's something a friend of mine told me this joke. We were eating dinner after a comedy gig, and it was so silly, and I never forgot it. Two sheep are standing in the field, and the first sheep goes bah. The second sheep goes moo. The first sheep goes moo. What's that all about? And the second sheep says, "I'm learning a foreign language."
That's so silly. I love that. It's so great. It's so great.
Tell me that Jim Delakis, the Australian comedian.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
And once again, here is the stoic Charlie Fisher smiling. He's a whole new man there tonight.
You know, the classic of all time is the salesman comes to the house and the kid answers the door and he says, "Kid, where's your mother?" She's shouting her back, getting it on with a goat. And the guy can't believe it. And they go up back and the kid's mother is getting it on with a goat. He says, "Kid, doesn't that bother you?" He says, "Nah."
I like it. How about
That's
this?
a
I
classic.
played ball with my dog earlier. I played ball with my dog all day today, although I don't think he was too happy about being kicked around like that. That's the old look but don't see kind of joke. Jackie, too, I was looking here. I got some pictures here just real quick. I wanted to pull one of these up. This picture right here. Boom.
You know who that is?
Hunt.
Sid
No, I don't know who it is.
Sid Bernstein.
I don't know Sid. I've heard the name, but I don't know Sid.
Sid Bernstein was the guy who booked the Beatles into Shea Stadium.
Wow.
And what the amazing thing about him, he was a real character. I mean, a great character. He produced shows and was so well known. He produced the Beatles at Carnegie Hall, all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
But
what's the commission money on that?
I think it was paper bags full,
Dough.
But that was him. He came on my radio show a couple times. I got audio of him telling Jew jokes, which is just so funny. He's so great, and he loved me. And we got to be friends. But he told me the story of he got the bright idea that, he might have been the first person to. You hear the fire whistle? I apologize. He's the first person, I think, to do a rock and roll show in a stadium. He got the idea. The Beatles were so huge. How's it going to be worthwhile bringing them over? So he wants to put them in the Shea Stadium. And I don't know whether he did Shea Stadium first or Washington, D.C. first, but it was a stadium. I think it was Shea Stadium.
No one have ever thought of that, though. How could that be?
Well, who was that big?
Yeah.
Nobody was that big. You weren't.
Well, the Rolling Stones was big.
That was the Rolling Stones were way after the Beatles. Think about it. This is 1964 Beatles. This is what caused the English wave, right? So Sid says he got this bright idea that he's going to try and book this band, and he gets a telephone number for their agent.
Uh-huh.
And this is him telling me the story. And this just tickle as a New Yorker and a show business guy. He calls this guy, and a woman answers. She says, "Brian, telephone." And Brian Epstein comes to the phone. He says, I think I would like to bring the Beatles over to America and put them in a stadium. And, he told him the whole deal and everything like that. And we worked out a deal. And I said, "So you called Brian Epstein to book the Beatles for a show that was going to change music and change the world for all time? And he was living with his mother?"
Really?
His mother answered the phone, and Sid said yes. But I didn't think it was all that strange because at the time, I was living with my mother. So a Jewish kid living with his mother called a Jewish kid in England who was living with his mother, and booked a band that changed the world, changed music. I just think that is the funniest.
Does anybody even know that? Does people?
Who could? It's just not even believable. And that's absolutely true. Yes, in Sid Bernstein's book, the name of his book is Sid Bernstein Calling. The guy in the late 30s, he would stand on a not a soapbox, but like a milk crate in Times Square.
Really?
And yell to everybody to be warned, to try and warn people about Hitler.
Wow.
You got to read. It's called Sid Bernstein Calling. He's the greatest guy. He signed an autograph to me. I got to send it to you. It says, "Jackie, thank you. Don't ever tell anybody I was on your stupid show." Something like that. But what a character.
I got a couple people here. They get a load of this. Besides, this is going to be fun. Now look at this. We got. Look what we have here. We have several people here. There's Joey Charlie Fisher smiling for the first time. And the guy from Canada and Bob from Pittsburgh. I guess you guys have jokes. I guess you have jokes. Hit us.
I have jokes.
Hit us. Oh, Bob's always got.
Yeah,
Go
I got
ahead,
one.
Bob.
You got one. Where do you find a dog with no
Who wants
legs?
to go first?
Right where you left them.
Exactly.
I love that
I
joke.
can-
I love
Great.
that joke.
Why did the chicken cross the basketball court? Because he heard
You
they
heard
were
the
blowing
referee was-
fouls at the other end. Boom, boom.
You're supposed to tell them the answer, I thought.
We're supposed to figure it out, but these guys
I
are
didn't
hitting.
know that. I
That's
never
okay.
asked for
I
anything back.
don't care, but I stepped on your punchline. I didn't mean to step on your punchline.
Let me ask you this. You guys, you ready? What do you call a hamster with 3 legs?
Tripod.
Amputee.
Oh.
Oh God. Wait, you know about the Polish coyote, right?
No. What about the Polish coyote?
He ate off 3 of his legs and he was still caught in the trap.
I like that one.
Love it.
I love it.
Oh, that's a classic joke where a guy comes into a western town and he sees a guy on the side of the road fucking a dog. He goes a little further and he sees another guy fucking a coyote. And he walks a little further and there's another guy fucking a coyote. And he goes a little further and there's a guy sitting in front of the saloon, an old man in a rocket chair, and he's jerking off. The guy goes to the sheriff and he goes into the sheriff's office. He says, "Sheriff, what kind of town is this? I walk in, there's a guy fucking a dog, there's a guy fucking a coyote, another guy fucking a coyote, and a guy sitting in front of the saloon. This old man sitting in front of the saloon jerking off. What's the story?" And the sheriff says, "You wouldn't expect that old guy to fetch some kind of animal to fuck, would you?"
I never heard that. I never heard that joke. Another one.
My jokes are too clean for this show.
Hold on. You should go work the cruises.
There you go.
Hey, what did the Buffalo say when his kid left home to go to college?
I don't know what.
I see Jackie contemplating.
Wait, what did the Buffaloes say? Bison. Is that right? You
Son of a
fucking
bitch, you
idiot.
got it.
That's
It is
horrible.
right.
Damn. I didn't think you'd get it.
Well, if you give me a few seconds, you know.
I'm not having sex. That's
I
great.
told you about the girl that stumped me twice with the same joke. Did I tell you that story?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell the guys the joke. Why do they bury Jews standing up?
Why?
So the change doesn't fall out of their pockets.
How
How do
about
you ditch a Jewish cop?
how?
Drive through a toll booth.
That's not good. That's not.
That's so good.
How's that fall into the animal kingdom? The animal.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was that an animal joke?
Nope.
It might have.
Jackie, I once had a goldfish that could break dance on a carpet, but he only did it for like 20 seconds.
You know about the lady says, "Johnny, what are you doing?" She says, "I'm burying my pet goldfish."
Uh-huh.
And the lady says, "Why are you digging such a huge hole?" She says, "Because he's inside your fucking cat."
Oh, look at this. We got people loving Bob Rumba. There you go. Love Bob Rumba. But he really loves you sexually. See that? That's really good. Look, there's somebody wrote Bob touched me. Oh, that's bad.
God.
Jackie,
You
what?
gotta stop putting the people's names up so we can fantasize that we have different 6 people each week.
You know, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You know, I have the power.
That's all.
I have the power to change that right now.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, I'm not kidding.
We gotta
I'm going to
recognize
change.
it.
Hey,
Well,
what
give
do
them
fish?
fake names. Give them fake
What do
names.
fish take? What do fish take to stay healthy?
What if fish stay healthy? What?
What do fish
Take to stay healthy.
Thanks.
Vitamin C.
Okay.
Hang up on him.
Good. He's got.
You know about the little girl?
Glad
A
I'm your
little girl
friend,
goes
so
in
you
the
didn't
pet
say
store.
anything bad about me.
A little girl goes to the pet store, so it's Mikta. Could I buy a widow rabbit? And he says, okay, little girl. Do you want one of these widow white ones? Or do you want one of these widow brown ones? And she says, actually, mister, I really don't think my pet python gives a fuck.
That one I did actually remember. That as you're doing it, it's hitting me in the head. Hey, speaking of which, there's this joke about the parrots. There's a million parrot jokes, Jackie. Parrot jokes.
I never get sick of the parrot jokes.
Love the parrot jokes. Another one too. You know, here's a different play on a quick joke. A bear and a rabbit are taking a shit in the woods.
Yeah.
And the bear says, "Excuse me,
I know that.
does crap stick to your fur?" And the rabbit says no. And then he picks up the rabbit, and the rabbit looks at the bear and says, "Is Phil Selman still telling this joke?"
That's funny.
It's funny. Somebody told me that in 1990 because I knew the joke, but when it went the other way, I was like, "That's hilarious."
Yeah, it is.
I told you what happened to me with that joke.
No.
I thought it was the funniest joke in the world. And they gave me like a minute to open the show at the Nassau Coliseum.
Oh,
when,
you didn't mention
when Howard played Gary. And so I went out and I told that joke. And I don't watch TV. I'm too busy. I wouldn't pay attention. And I guess Eddie Murphy had just done that joke on whatever special. And so people were like, taking Eddie Murphy's, it just was a very, very funny joke that was going on.
It just happened to be very funny.
So funny.
How can you tell if a guy, if you're at, let's see, how do you tell if you're at a guy picnic?
A gay picnic is what he meant.
That's what he meant. He missed the gay part.
Number one, you should spell things right. And number two, you should not put the punchline in there.
You're right.
You fucking moron.
Speaking of which, how are gay guys like mice?
I don't know.
They don't want you to fill up they want their holes. They want.
Why a gay guy? How a gay guy
like cheese in their holes?
No, that's not bad. That's not bad.
That's
they both
pretty
hate
good.
pussies.
They what?
They both hate pussies.
Oh, jeez.
Come on, that's good.
That's good.
You know about the cat that comes? The cat that's at the pearly gates.
No.
And St. Peter says, you were a good kitty. What would you like? He says, I just want a nice warm blanket that I can lie on. St. Peter says, I could take care of that. You get some nice warm blanket. And a little while later, 3 mice come up.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, you a good little mice. What would you like? And one of the mice says, all we wanted our whole lives was to have our own skateboards. We just want our own skateboards. He says, I could take care of that. And then the next day, St. Peter's walking around heaven and he sees the cat lying on the blanket. He says, you like your blanket? The cat says, yeah, it's great. And the Meals on Wheels were pretty good too.
Now I get it. Hey, here's a classic kids joke. I remember doing this. Why don't bunnies make noise while they're screwing?
I don't know why.
Because they have cotton balls.
Is
that right?
Yeah, you're right. I knew it wouldn't get by. You just pulled that out of your head, but I knew you wouldn't get by you.
How can you tell a gay rabbit?
How you tell a gay rabbit?
He's got a wild hair up his ass.
I like that one.
The funny part about Jackie is you throw it out and you like fishing. They just come back to you. You got a great memory. Really
Eventually.
I can't even read. How all right, why does Miss Piggy douche with honey?
Because Kermit likes sweet and sour pork.
You fucker.
Is that right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You can't get with any of them.
What was it? What was it? It was what's green and smells like pork? Kermit's finger.
Yeah, another one. Yeah. Great joke.
I love those.
Now, there's this other one too. It's a classic joke. Drunk guy comes home late at night, bursts through the door of the bedroom, and he goes with a duck under his arm, and he says to his annoyed wife, he goes, "This is the pig I've been screwing." And the wife says, unimpressed, "You're a drunk asshole." And he goes to the duck. The guy looks down at the duck and says, "You see, I was talking to the duck, not you." That's a classic joke. There's a shorter one on that with a guy in an elevator with a pig too, isn't it? The guy
Well, the way Henny used to tell it was like a guy walks in a bar with a duck under his arm. The bartender, no, a big fat lady walks in a bar with a duck under her arm, and the bartender says, "Where'd you get the pig?" She says, "Not a pig, it's a duck." He says, "I was talking to the duck."
Right to the
Which is
point.
a pretty rude joke for Henny Youngman.
Yeah, it was.
You know,
Was.
What's the one about there's one about a duck that they sneak into the theater, remember?
Of course.
Yeah, tell that one.
Well, the farmer comes down to go to the movies, and he brings his pet goose with him. And he goes to go in the movie, and the girl says, "I'm sorry, sir, you can't bring that thing into the theater." So the farmer goes around the corner and puts the goose down his pants. And then he buys a ticket and he goes into the movie. And halfway through the movie, the goose is jumping around inside his pants. So the farmer pulls down his zipper so the goose can stick his neck out and get a little air. And there's two little old ladies sitting next to him. One turns the other and says, "You know, you seen one, you seen them all, but this one's eating my popcorn." That is such a great joke.
But you pull him out of I love the way you just pull him out of the air like that. It's just amazing to me. It's great.
You know what about the little old lady goes into the luncheonette and she says, "I want a hamburger." And the guy behind the counter yells to the cook, "One burger!" And the cook is this big, fat, disgusting guy wearing a wife beater t-shirt. And he grabs a hunk of chopped meat and he puts it in his arm and pumps his arm to flatten the meat and throws it on the grill. And she turns the guy behind the counter and says, "Do you know, I think that might be the most disgusting thing I've ever seen." He says, "Yeah, lady, you should be here in the morning when he makes the donuts."
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Right.
Now, this guy came in and actually wrote a joke without the punch. There you go.
Get that quarterback.
It's too easy. It was just way too easy. Too easy. Jackie, what about
Why don't they let the cheerleaders in San Francisco wear short skirts?
because it's going to show their balls?
The balls hang out. I love that.
How about I was just told that my dog chased someone on a bicycle and bit him, which is totally bullshit. My dog doesn't even ride a bicycle.
Oh my God. Oh, John.
That's the same twist. It's the same
Oh,
twist.
John. The same shit. It's all the same shit.
It's all the good shit. I love it. Jack, you've got another one, Booby Roomba.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But Jackie will know the punchline, so
I'm not going to say nothing.
all right. I know a little Johnny joke that actually, those come from Italy, so I'm going to tell in an Italian accent, not to offend Jackie, because the last time I told a joke from Italy with an Italian accent, he goes, "That's a good joke. I don't know what he has an accent in there for."
They come from everywhere. Go ahead.
Okay. So, little Johnny, he's seated a lady sitting in a park, says, "Mama, I'm going to go over and say nice hi to that lady." She says, "Little Johnny, you be nice to that lady. You not say anything bad, and nothing all. Nothing. You stay home for like 2 weeks and no go anywhere if you say anything bad to that lady." I said, "No, I won't say anything bad." So he goes over to the lady, says, "Hi, lady." And she says, "Hi, little boy, what's your name?" He goes, "It's a little Johnny." She said, "That's a nice name." "Thank you, lady." She said, "Oh, what's that? Is that your dog?" "Yeah, that's my dog, lady. He's cute too." "Thank you, lady. I appreciate that." "What's your dog's name?" "His name is a Porky." "Oh, why do you call him Porky?" "'Cause he likes to fuck pigs."
Yeah, I love that.
It's
So
a long way to go.
The three little girls, and they say to the first girl, "How'd you get your name, Daisy?" She says, "Oh, when I was just born in the hospital, my mother was holding me, and there was a daisy in the vase, and the wind came and blew a petal from the daisy, and it landed on my head. And so my mother decided she was going to name me Daisy." And they say to the next girl, and how'd you get your name?" She says, "Oh, when I was just born, I was in my mother's arms, and there was a rose in the vase, and a wind came and blew up one of the petals from the rose, and it landed on my head. My father said, we should call her Rose. And the third daughter goes, and they say, shut the fuck up, Cinderblock.
What a disparity the way that flows. I love the way that flows.
It's just so stupid. I love it.
All right, a policeman is in a big city. He stops a man in a car with a miniature parrot on the front seat. And he goes, what are you doing with that parrot, my friend? He goes, you should take him to the zoo. So the following week, the same policeman sees the same man with a parrot again in the front seat, with both of them wearing sunglasses. The policeman pulls him over and says, I thought you were going to take that parrot to the zoo. And he goes, I did. We had such a good time. We're going to the beach this weekend. Now, that's a cruise ship joke that you could do that's clean.
I know. Stosh, you got to take
that
that penguin to the zoo. I did. Today we're going to the ball game. I love that.
Yeah, it's the same joke.
Wonderful.
What do we have any Johnny jokes? People love the Johnny jokes. Everybody likes the Johnny jokes.
Johnny jokes. All right, little Johnny, he's to go to school, and the teacher said, I'm so upset. He goes, teacher, you're my favorite teacher. Why are you so upset? Because I can't find my cat anywhere. So he said, I will help you find your cat, the teacher. So he's to look around. He's to look all around. He goes, I'm going to go under your desk and look. He looks and he comes out. He goes, hey, teacher, I think I found your cat. She says, really? That's great. He goes, wait, I have a question first, though. When your cat smile, does he smile like it is or like it is?
I didn't see that coming, actually.
So
I like it.
The teacher says, all right, class, I think everybody should buy a copy of the class picture. Because years from now, when you grow up, you'll say, there's Charlie. He's a doctor now. And there's Mary. She's got 4 kids now. And Johnny goes, yeah. And there's the teacher. She's dead.
We're way off on the animal jokes. We're going here. We're going there.
I'm still doing animal jokes.
Yeah. Okay, Bob, you got any animal jokes? You got one or no?
Yeah, we'll do another little Johnny joke.
All right, go ahead.
Little Johnny's walking with his dad, and he goes, oh, a worm. And he's pulling out of the ground like that. And his dad says, you know what? I'm going to give you $5 if you could have put it back in. He goes, all right. He goes in the house and he gets mom's hairspray. He's a spray. It gets real stiff. And he sticks it back in. He said, little Johnny, that's great. I can't believe you could have do that. That's a good idea. Here's the $5. Next day, he's a walk again with his dad. His dad goes, hey, by the way, here's the $5. He goes, Dad, I didn't find a worm to do anything today. What do I get a $5 for? He goes, that's not for me. That's from your mama.
That's cute.
That was cute. Thank you, Bob. I'm going to drop you down. You were great. It's good to see. And by the way, you got to stop getting dressed up for these quick appearances.
I love it. I think you look.
Jackie wears a good T-shirt.
You're right.
I was actually going to put. This is the first time I didn't put on a shirt with a collar. I said, "To hell with it. To hell with it." I was all dressed up last night. Well, I wasn't dressed up last night.
Where'd you go last night, Jackie?
To here, because my friend put Sunday on the program, and I thought I had made a mistake, so I ran over here. Who cares?
Jackie, what about the great joke about the worm going to check the weather?
I told that last week on Feldman, and he went absolutely berserk, and everybody loved it.
The worm checks the weather.
Two worms lived together on a golf course.
Yeah.
And the first worm says to the second worm, why don't you go up and see what kind of day it is? The other worm says, all right. He starts up the dirt. And just as he's going up the dirt, there's 2 lady golfers. And one lady golfer says, the other one, I really got to pee. And her friend says, well, look, it's really early. There's nobody else on the course. Pee right here. Nobody will see. Nobody have any ideas. You think so? Yeah, sure. So she lifts up her skirt and pulls down her skivvies and squats down. And she's just about to commence when the worm right below her pokes his head up out of the dirt. And he looks up and she lets fly. Just pees and lets fly. And he's soaked. He's drenched. He goes back down the dirt. He comes up to the first worm, and he's dripping, you know. And the first worm says, it's raining, eh? He says, not only is it raining, it's raining so hard, the birds are building their nests upside down.
I love that
Now
joke. That's a great
I
is an
forgot that
involved
joke.
I used to open for a couple of, you know, it's so funny, all those years. I think for a couple of years, I either opened with that or a few insults. And then, I think of the way, God, my act, I used to come out and just barrage people for the first couple of minutes. I listened back to it and I'm like, holy cow, how could anybody have sat through that? My opening thing was, look at this, big tits right in the front. I mean, what kind of an opening line,
Yeah, but Jackie, I think the comedy, the whole idea of comedy sometimes today is when you walk into these clubs, you had maybe 3 acts on before you. They burnt up the crowd. They did the crowd work. They did the dick jokes. They did the ethnic stuff. You got to go up there and take a bat and hit people just to wake them up and get them. And I think it's a good premise sometimes. But maybe working.
No, but when I did it, I used to have either no opening act or very quiet. There was no reason for me to be like that. And that's why I never got to work the Borgata again, because that was the act I was doing when they hired me to do the Borgata. And here's these old ladies that came in out of the rain. I'm like, hey, lady, look at those tits right in the front. I'm going to do half of my show for each of those,
I know it's funny. I heard that story too. I heard the story, and you must have came in like on a Sunday night when they had all the blue hairs there, and I heard the story.
No. Ray Garvey begged me to open the room. So on Friday night, the first show, I did that. And then I realized it was a little crazy. All the Sopranos guys were there. And the next night, I kind of, because I had to walk a fine line because the people that were there to see me are expecting to see Jackie the Joke Man do what he does.
Right.
And so I finally walked the fine line. By Sunday night, I was actually signing autographs for the little old lady. But it didn't matter. The word was already out. He's out of here.
We've all done that. I've done this.
Old lady. Those not the red hat ladies, are they?
No, just the little old Italian ladies that came into the opening of the Borgata, and they get you get 2 free meals and tickets to the show, and yak, and they're all going to do everything. I mean, half of them love it, but it only takes a couple complainers.
I remember working in Branson, and the red hat ladies come in, and I was doing Ed Sullivan with guys who do the Beatles, and he goes, that old lady just grabbed my ass. I go, she did mine too. I go, they all do that. They're red hat ladies, and they're having a good time.
Oh, that's good.
Let's ask them for their autographs, and we'll grab their asses. That's kind of how they work.
That's the Blue Hair Brigade? Those guys, the Shiners' wives?
No. The Red Hat is an organization of women that believe in the camaraderie of older women getting together and staying strong as a whole and all that. I did a bunch of Red Hatted things too, and they were always good crowds. They were.
Do you know about the time they were in the St. Patrick's Day parade?
No.
Those old ladies were in the St. Patrick's Day parade, and there was a couple drunks on the sidewalk on the side of the parade. And one of them accidentally dropped a lit cigarette into a damp mattress. And just as these old ladies came walking by, the cigarette in the mattress started to smolder. And one of the drunks goes, hey, you think maybe they're marching these ladies too fast?
I never heard that either.
That's pretty funny. Hey, how about the moles? That's a great joke. It's clean, sort of.
The mole,
the mole 3 moles going up the mole hole.
Yeah, I smell waffles. The mama mole goes, I smell pancakes. And the baby mole goes, I smell molasses.
All right, here, Jeff Brook has one. Little Johnny, a teacher asked Little Johnny to use the word definitely in a sentence. Little Johnny replies, teacher, do farts have lumps in them? She says, of course not, Johnny. To which Johnny replies, I definitely shit my pants. And I've heard you tell that joke a million times.
I know.
It's a great joke. Great joke.
Johnny can use the word perhaps in a sentence. Sure. Yesterday, when I got home from school, my sister and her piano teacher both had their pants off. perhaps they were going to shit on the piano.
I never heard that either.
That's
There's
a
another
great
one. You see, this guy, he has it in his head, and it's like fishing. He just plucks them out, plucks them out, plucks them out. It's a beautiful
You know about Johnny hitchhiking with his dog?
thing. No,
And the guy stops in a Cadillac and he says, "Listen, kid, I'll give you a ride, but your dog can't come in my car." He says, "That's all right, mister. He's going to run alongside." The guy says, "All right." So Johnny gets in the car and the guy's doing 50 miles an hour and he looks over and there's the dog keeping up with the car and he can't believe it. So he's up to 70 miles an hour and he looks over and the dog is keeping up with the car. He's doing 90. He looks and the dog is keeping up with the car. So the guy slams on the brakes. He leans over and opens up the door. He says, "Kid, that's your dog." He says, "Yeah, that's my dog." He says, "Well, what's the brown ring around his neck?" He says, "That's his asshole. He ain't used to stopping that
I love it. I love it. Look at that. People are saying that they love it. You guys are great. Okay, maybe not you guys, just these guys.
Just fun.
Jackie, I have a picture here too, real quick. I was looking at before earlier. Look at this. This is attractive.
You know what that is, right? Do you know what that is?
You when you were pregnant.
A
pregnant
million
Mark.
years ago, on the cover of either Esquire or maybe it was Vanity Fair, there was a famous picture of Demi Moore cupping cupping her boobs with her hands.
Yep.
And her big pregnant belly, which was, was beautiful but disgusting or whatever. But it believe it or not, it caused a little outrage.
I remember.
And we said, "What's the big deal? We can do that." So I did that. It was very,
Oh, you did.
On the actual show, they A/B'd the two pictures together. I don't have that, but I'm sure it's on the web.
That's so cool. And I was looking at this thing too. Look at this. Holy shit.
That is the car we drove around in for the entire 70s. That's a 1955 bright yellow Cadillac hearse.
That'll get you dead. I mean, laid.
And we always had girls, and we always had pot, and we always had booze, and we never got stopped. Because who would look at that and think that anybody in that car would dare fuck up? The back open like this, like it opened like that so they could get the casket in, and we had it all carpeted. We would empty the bar. One night I counted, we had 18 people in the back of that car smoking pot. 18, if you could possibly fathom that. I mean, it was huge. It was immense. Imagine the size of a casket,
And now you can sit in a little car and have edibles. It's a whole different world.
It's a whole different world.
What's Charlie showing me? Charlie, I saw you showing something on the phone there.
Charlie, get a pillow so at least your head is in the middle of the. You look like a fucking moron.
I'm hearing myself.
And meanwhile, his hair blends in with the wall.
Yeah, look.
Yeah, it just looks like a half a face.
Oh, there you got a picture. Oh, there he is. Picture of Jackie and Charlie. I don't know when that was, Charlie. I have no idea. Say again?
Friars Club.
Friars Club. The old Friars Club.
The good old Friars Club.
Actually, I think Jackie, Jackie, we worked together a couple of times, but I think Charlie was the one that really hooked us up together a long time ago.
He's a good man, Charlie.
He is a
Charlie,
good
I don't
man.
know if you remember, Saturday night I did Rhonda Shear's show.
Mhm.
Rhonda Shear was on a show called Up All Night. She was a comedian for a long time.
I remember.
In the year 2000, she married her high school sweetheart, the only guy that ever broke up with her in her whole life.
Mhm.
She went back and married the guy, and they're multi-millionaires. She sells lingerie on Home Shopping Network. And
Get out of here.
She sent a whole pile of lingerie for Barbara, and she's still beautiful, and we laughed, and I told filthy jokes, and you should go on her show. She would.
I would love to. I used to watch her back. I was in the 90s. Was it Up All Night? I remember watching.
Yeah,
It might even been late. I'm not sure when, but she was. I got to know her well. We did a roast. That's what made me think of it. We roasted Soupy Sales in the in not even the Milton Berle room, the room at the opposite end of the hall from the Milton Berle room, the one with all the pencil sketches of the roast.
Yeah.
It was like me and Jeff Ross and Pat Cooper and Dick Capri. I'm sure I sent you that picture. It's a great picture. And she's lying on the pool table, and all of us are standing around. Bobby Kelton.
I did see that picture. Yeah.
And she's just, she's a hoot. She's a hoot. She's no spring chicken. She's not my age, but she's knocking on my door, and she looks, she looks 40.
She looks great. And something, after all these years, there's still, be able to still sell that kind of stuff right now. That's pretty cool. I'm showing Charlie's showing us another picture of it.
What's he got?
He's got a picture of you at Soupy Sales at the Friars Club. Wow.
Soupy's one of my favorites.
Soupy was great.
Did I tell you my Soupy Sales story, which I love? Soupy, I know Soupy. I knew him for 40 years. When I was working the circuit, he was working the circuit. Paul, his piano player, and him, you'd go to a comedy club, and Gilbert was there the week before, and Bobby Collins the week before, and coming next week, Soupy Sales. He was just another one of the acts that were in the rotation. And he had been around forever. It was so funny because my roommate in college was a huge fan because Soupy started in Detroit. So my roommate from college knew him long before New York knew him. And Soupy was doing a show at the Friars. And when they do the shows in the dining room, they have that fake stage. And behind the stage, there's a curtain. But the curtain isn't against the wall. There's like a foot between the curtain and the wall. And Soupy leaned on the curtain and went flying down. I think he broke his hip. He really got hurt. And he was never the same. And then he had a couple strokes. And he's in bad shape. So one day, I'm at the Friars Club, and I'm going into the dining room, which had a not too wide a doorway. And this is so fucking funny. I go to walk into the dining room, and coming the other way at the exact same time through the doorway is Soupy, who was so frail. He must have weighed 80 pounds, walking with a walker and moving so slow and so frail. I'm like, Soup, how you doing? And he said to me, I swear to God, he said, Jack, this morning I went to the bank and I asked the guy to check my balance, and he pushed me.
Even after being old and frail.
Yeah.
Old, frail motherfucker, still breaking balls. And he was so I laughed so hard, and I could tell it made his day. And I wasn't kissing his ball. I mean, it was how fucking out of Pluto.
That's beautiful. It's totally beautiful.
And he pushed me.
That's hilarious. And you know something? I have you muted, Charlie, because I think you're using the music that you're hearing the show live, so it feeds back. But I remember, if I believe correctly, Charlie, that you were with me the night we had done his 80th or 100th birthday party down in Manhattan at a comedy club downstairs. I forget which club it was. Do you recall that? Do you remember that, Charlie? Wasn't you? Okay.
That was probably Joe Franklin's place downstairs, right off of Broadway there.
No. The very first, I know I had met Soupy at the Friars Club a couple of times briefly, really quickly, but they had a birthday party for him. As a matter of fact, I had done a birthday party at the Friars Club for Senior Wentz's 100th birthday party, and it was done by
my God.
Right. And Senior Wentz's had his 100th birthday. He just walked on stage, and he said that night, it's all right. And then people went fucking nuts. It went nuts. And then it was and the guy who did it, who put this little thing together, used to be Michelle LaFong's manager.
I remember him.
Charlie.
Oh, the musician guy.
Well, I don't know if he was
Tito Puente's nephew.
No. Is it?
No.
No.
No, it's a different guy.
A short, nice guy from Nav Street in Brooklyn, Jewish guy, a little chubby guy, bald, had a lot of hair in his ears, I remember. Great guy. I keep thinking Fisher, something Fisher, same name. Anyway, he put this thing together, and we went to a club in the city downstairs. It had an upstairs and a downstairs. I forget what club it is in Midtown somewhere. It was one of the, still around. It's a comedy club. And downstairs they had a birthday party for Soupy.
Oh, and that had to be the Broadway Comedy Club.
Yeah, it was the Broadway Comedy. I remember the first night. it was the first night I did Smokey the Black Dummy. The first time I ever did it. It's on tape, and I put it up in the air on YouTube. It was the first time I ever did the Black Puppet, and he was there, and he laughed his ass off the whole night. And he was in a wheelchair, and he's like, "Come over here, son. Come over here." And we took pictures and stuff. He was a really like person. Yeah, great guy. Great
I'm
guy.
not a Jew, but I say mensch.
You could be a Jew for the moment, just for the moment. Speaking of which, the joke you told the other night. How do you keep a Jew in suspense? It's a great joke.
It got Feldman. That's so good. You know,
I heard it on Feldman.
I mean, we you know, that was from like 5th grade. How do you keep an idiot in suspense?
I know, but it's a nice
walk away.
It's a nice twist.
You never miss. You never miss.
Nice
you know.
Somebody put a joke up here in the thing. Let's see. One day, little Susie got a monthly bleeding for the first time in her life. That was done well, Jeff. Not quite certain what was happening. Somewhat frightened, she decided to tell little Johnny. Little Susie dropped the pants, showed little Johnny what was happening. Little Johnny's eyes opened wide in amazement. He said, he said, I'm not a doctor, but it looks to me like somebody just ripped your balls off.
That's great.
That's a great joke.
That's a great joke. You know what? I will make that. I will make that make good sense. And
Jackie, only got a few more minutes here. We almost at the end of this night of jokes. So we know it's funny. We started off with animal jokes, and we went into Jewish jokes. We went into little Johnny jokes.
What did the elephant say when the alligator bit off his trunk?
Oh, wait a minute. What did the elephant say?
I know that one, I think.
Who is it? Something like you should talk with a dick for a nose?
No. Very funny. Very funny.
Very funny, yeah.
It's too long to tell. Little Red Rosenfeld. You know that?
Yeah,
Charlie,
yeah.
You know that?
Bring it on.
The big bad wolf sees Little Red Rosenfeld walking with a basket of goodies for her grandmother. So the big bad wolf runs ahead and eats her grandmother, and then puts on her nightie and gets in bed. And Little Red Rosenfeld knocks on the door, and the big bad wolf says, "Come in, darling. Come in, darling." And Little Red Rosenfeld walks in, and she walks to the door, and she says, "My booby, what big ears you have." He says, hold it better so I can hear what you're saying, darling. "And the booby, what big eyes you have. Hold it better, I can feast on looking at you, darling." He says, "And booby, such a big nose you have." And the big bad wolf says, "And you should talk."
I love that.
That is a great joke.
I love that. So.
And on that note, thank you, Charlie Fisher. Thank you, Bobby.
Yeah.
And on that note, listen, it's been too much fun.
Give me a plug for
of course.
cameo.com.
I wasn't going anywhere without it. I just want to let you people know, if anybody wants to see Jackie come on and tell jokes on video sent to you right into your inbox with any kind of joke you want, clean, dirty, even cruise ship material. Where do we go? Where do we go?
Cameo.com/Jackie Martling.
That's right. And you'll make them up in any way they want, clean, dirty, or edgy, or whatever you like, right?
Right. And Fridays at 11:30 in the morning, I'm on bestatsearadio.com with John Ferrantino and Tom Drake and his wife Dottie Drake, and a guy whose name is BJ. I said, I would love to see what other nicknames you decided against before you decided on BJ. But it's bestatsearadio.com.
Let me write that down, Jackie. Say it again. Best
at sea, SEA. bestatsearadio.com.
Radio.com. Put it right up there for future reference. So
and if you want to see Charlie, go to bestatcunt.com.
The guy who's BJ, his wife's initial is CT.
There we go.
Jackie, so you want to see Jackie, get cameo.com/Jackie Martling. If you want to see me, I'm at johnpeasy.com. And you guys have been so much fun. Thanks for sticking around with us. It's 60 minutes on the dot. We're out of here. Jackie, see you next Monday.
So the guy says to his wife, "Have you been sucking off the dog?" And she says, "No, why do you ask?" He says, "Because every time you yawn, he gets a hard on." I'll see you next week.
Too much fun. Take it easy.